Hello and welcome along. My name is Eddie and this is my vlog, and today is July the 6th. We are currently heading down to the field I talked about in my last vlog, which is just over this way here, where we are going to be doing some mowing today. How much milk do we have? We've got 65,000 litres we need to transport. We are always transporting milk here. The cows are ridiculously prolific. There we go. We have to grab it from this end. Let's jump back in and through we go. We're not worried about closing these actually. Cows are nicely tucked up in that field there. We just have this nice big field here of grass, so we're going to be cutting this today. Let's unfold our rear mowers, keep them out of the hedge. There we are. And then we're going to unfold the front ones as well. Actually, we do want to close that gate because otherwise, I'm going to have to go around. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get a nice close cut. We want to cut this roadway as well. It does well for us to do that. So we'll just bring this in. Close that up. And then we'll just reverse this back up. Like so. Get our front one unfolded too. There we are. Turn that on. You can hear it going. So yeah, this is going to be our supply of hay for the year. It's a pretty good field for that, decent size. And we should be able to get it done fairly well. We've got a few days drying as well. We're going to immediately come and TED this in a minute once we got it cut. But we obviously need to cut it first to do that. Reverse into here. And the field is looking pretty good. It's we've got a nice amount of grass in here. It's nice and high. You can see we've got lots of fields at the moment that are getting very close to harvest. The carrots are looking pretty good, but they're not there yet. We need to give them a spray. Look at the weeds across there. So we're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks. Whereas things like our canola here, this is looking really nice. This is pretty much ready to harvest, I should think. End of the month, probably, we're going to be getting to that. So sort of late July, early August. The same is true of our wheat. Our wheat is just about ready to do. So I think we're only a few vlogs before we get into the harvest vlogs on here. But we've got this field to do. We're going to be cutting this, tedding it today, getting it ready to dry. Get that out of there. There we go. And then yeah, we'll leave it to dry. We'll get some other stuff done around the farm for the next week or so, and then we've got some rain on the way, so I am keeping a close eye on that. Hopefully, the drying will mean that we won't be too badly off with a little bit of rain. It doesn't tend to be, if we manage to get it started on the drying, we tend to not lose too much. When we are, if we have a little bit of rain, it's making sure it's dry enough not to rot. That's what we're trying to avoid. Grass in this field is looking really good, really healthy. It doesn't look like a huge amount on the ground, but that's basically because it's lying fairly low. The nice thing about these mowers is these mowers tend to spread out the grass quite well. Makes for better drying. So it's why I try and get, whenever I'm doing silage, I get it up or get it rowed as quickly as possible, because these are such good mowers at laying the grass out and making sure that the grass is optimal for drying and getting sorted. so that we have less time to wait for it to dry. We do need to ted it, I think, a couple of times to get it towards hay. So we are basically, a couple of teds means that it will dry that much quicker. So that's why we're going to be doing one immediately today, once we've got the field cut. And it is a fairly large field, this. Which is good. We need a very good supply of hay. Something that means that we're not reliant on buying in bales all the time, as we have been so far this year. I'm very much want to get away from that problem where we're having to buy stuff in. Now, the only thing I have got is in my corners where I've been turning. We seem to have little patches that the mower's missing. Yeah, look at that. So we'll just run over that with the front mower, like so, and then back down into here. We're going to do 3 headlands on here. That will allow me to turn the most efficiently, I think. Oh, not if I miss tufts of grass like that. It's because of the odd-shaped bit here where we took the roadway in. But it's good to get the roadway in, especially at this time of year where it's nice and dry and isn't too bumpy. Means that we end up not having lots of ruts going down this field. When we do the carrots later in the year, that is going to be that road is going to become more rutty, and that is going to be a job over several days, getting those carrots harvested. We will get a big carrot harvester in for that. I get a we'll get a contractor. Contractor will come in and do the actual harvesting. We'll do the carting. It's easier for us to do the carting, and we've got plenty of space in the shed for that. My biggest worry with shed space, actually, because we're not going to get the grain store built this year, is the number of crops we have as opposed to the actual amount of space. We've got a huge amount of space available for the carrots, and then we've got a couple of areas available for other crops, but we are going to have to put a hay barn in, I think. We're not going to, when harvest rolls around, we're not going to have enough space for a to put the bales under cover in our main shed. So I think we're going to have to get a hay barn erected. That's fine. That's actually easier than getting a grain store erected. So we've got plenty of space around the farm where we can put one of those in. And this is going fairly nicely here. It's yeah, it's cutting well, this G190. It's a good tractor to have on the farm. This the hours on it are, yeah, quite a few at this point. It tends to be a workhorse tractor on here, but yeah, it does the job admirably. And now that we've reached this point here and we've sort of cleared out the corner, we can turn and get ourselves cutting into the crop like this, and opening things up. And what I want to do is I want to be about halfway down this section here, because if I'm that, then that is going to make life a lot easier when we come to do the bigger section in a minute. And it just cuts straight through. Keep a nice straight line. GPS would make this easier because I could have set my GPS line with the edge of the field up here, but I think we got it pretty good. I think we're pretty spot on. Back to the old-fashioned way of eyeballing it, and the more you work these fields, the more you know exactly where you need to be in the right spot. So as we get more familiar with the farm over time, we will know where we need to cut in, what landmarks are best for us to line ourselves up with, that kind of thing. That is right up until we go and upgrade this tractor in a few years and get another one with GPS on it, as you do. Yeah, I mean, we could get a high-end T7, sort of a 195 or something like that, to replace this in a few years with a. Oh wow! I think I actually eyeballed that perfectly. Talk about knowing the farm in a few years. I think I've got the farm now. Absolutely wonderful. Look at that. One small tuft of grass that we need to just run back and grab. But, oh, I'm happy about that. That's worked well. It's quite a good reach on these mowers. They have a, you know, you tend to zoom through a field on them. I found they're very, very nice for getting this this kind of work done quickly. Good set of butterfly mowers. I'm lining up on the shed down the bottom, and we're into the bigger part of the field now. I think I'm a little bit skewed, but that's okay. Not as good as I was on the top end of the field, I don't think. But we'll see how we go. And I want to cut in on the other side, looking at how much grass we have left. Doesn't make much difference. We're sitting in the middle anyway. So the butterfly mowers are out either side. Not like when I'm using a harvester. We're in a position there where we need to keep the auger into the field as much as possible. Although while you're working as a one-man band on the harvest, that's kind of less important, because you're constantly having to go and grab the tractor and things. You're either grabbing the tractor or you're taking the harvester to it and trying to position the tractor in the best possible place for you to pick up the to do the smallest amount of traveling you can. It's why we get a contractor in for the carrots, because basically you don't want that carrot harvester stopping, especially in a field the size of our carrot field. I mean, look at this. This is going to take us a couple of days to get this field done. It's just, yeah. It's going to be an amazing amount of money from the carrots. It really is. But, yeah, it's going to take a couple of days. And a mammoth task. And probably, knowing the weather around here, we'll be doing it in the rain. But carrots are very profitable, very useful. And we'll make a load of money off those. Which is good. Absolutely brilliant news. But it's an interesting harvest window. We are actually right in the middle of our harvest window at the moment, because we weren't able to get any winter crops in last year. We're actually a bit later into the harvest than we normally would be. For example, when we get the winter crops cut this year, we will almost immediately turn around and put the winter canola in after the winter wheat, and that should work well. And then it's making sure that we can get the wheat in. Ooh. I can't remember actually. It's either the winter wheat in straight after the winter canola, or the winter canola straight after the winter wheat. The idea being that we can get them done as quickly as possible and plant as quickly as possible. We then I think it might then be the canola after the barley, because the barley we are well into the harvest season for the barley. We tend to, because we do spring barley on here, we tend to get a late barley harvest, but it's still earlier than most others anyway. Oats are looking good over there. Yeah, those oats are looking very good over that way. Oh, it's, yeah. I'm just remembering we don't do. I can't remember. I don't think we've got any barley on here this year. Actually, I think it's oats instead. Right, lift that up. Right, turn it off and fold it. And lift our rear ones up, turn them off and fold them up. And we're gonna head down to the sheep farm, get our little Fiat 110 and get that hooked up to the tedder so that we can get this field tethered. First, I've got to get out to these gateways. Around this time of year, we do a lot of mowing and basic feed creation. There's a lot of that going on. We also tend to do a lot of spraying and things like that. So this tractor here, this 110, this tends to get a big workout at this time of year, and we're forever changing the tires because obviously this is our sprayer tractor as well as our smaller tractor on the farm. The 180 55, that's our ploughing tractor, and that is pretty much all that is good for. We don't tend to do anything else with that on here. We've got our baler there, which it's a big Heston baler. I'm umming and erring about whether that's going to work with our bale shredder. Whether the bales that big will work with that. I need to, I think we're going to get the straw and we're going to see, because I am very much considering altering our bale shredder and seeing how we can do with that. Now we've got a nice big tedder on here, Pottinger one. Like the rest of our equipment, it is all, this is all new stuff for this year, because we didn't have the equipment with the farm that we thought we did, which was a little bit of an outlay, but not something I'm particularly too worried about. It's quite a good thing to have some nice equipment that you can rely on the farm. But having said that, we of course have had a little bit of a problem with the forage wagon. We seem to have resolved it now. It seems to be that if the grass is too wet, it just gums up the works. So we always ted, whether we're doing silage or making hay, we always ted now. Always get at least one bit of drying, let it dry out a little bit. And then we're in a good position. Oh, there we go. Take my eye out on one of those spikes. Back it up. And we go. Start her up. Perfect. And away we go. And you can see already it's having an immediate effect. Turning over. It's a really, really good drying day, and you can see that in the grass that we've already tethered. It's already drying out very nicely. So we just need to get this field done and dusted and tethered, and we'll all be good. But like the initial cut, we are doing 3 rounds on the headland here. Trying to keep it moving roughly the same way as it did before, and it just means it turns over nicely. We're getting a better feel now of how much grass we got on here, but you can see it's still laid out nice and smoothly, which means that we are in a position where we've got a good drying setup here. It laying low and seemingly quite spread out is good. Means that we will we'll get a better dry. It means the sun gets to more of it. It means the air gets to more of it, because a lot of the drying is actually not just how sunny it is, but also how much air flows around it and is able to take the moisture away. So getting it laid out nice and well, nice and spread means that more air gets to more of it, and therefore we're able to get it dry more efficiently and more quickly, which is especially important here where we've got a we get a good breeze coming off the water. And while that does carry a little bit of more moisture with it, it also tends to move a little faster. So as a result, we get a better drying from it. Which it sounds a little bit weird, I will admit, but yeah, because we got more, despite it being slightly more moisture rich, or slightly more moisture in the air, because there's more of it moving over, it tends to take away things and get it dried quicker, which is quite nice, especially on these slopes facing down towards the bay. It's really good. So one more headland, and then I'm gonna start going up and down on the field itself, and we will be in a good way, I think, going forwards. We should get a nice amount of hay off this, providing we get some nice drying over the next few days. But we'll see how we go. If it's really good, then yeah, we should have a nice load of hay to feed our cattle with, and our sheep too, of course. With the headlands tethered, we're now getting into the main body of the field, and this tractor is still working very nicely. I'm just slightly worried. Yeah, I need to fill this with fuel. We're just hovering above the red here. I think we got enough to get the rest of this field done. But yeah, certainly on the way back down to the other yard, I'm going to give this a refuel. Let's just keep it going. Get me through the rest of this field, little tractor, please. There's not that much to do, but it's going to make all the difference. It's going to save us an absolute fortune, all this grass work we're doing. We are looking at having hay and clover silage and grass silage, and yeah. It's going to make a massive, massive difference to us on here. Being able to get all of this done. There we go. And just, yeah, we'll just do us really, really well to be in a position where we're no longer having to spend a huge amount of money on a regular basis buying in bales to feed our animals. Because at the moment, that is actually our biggest outgoing, our biggest expenditure on the farm, is the regular purchase of bales to do that. I wish I had enough sitting at Ballincraig that I could just bring a load up here. But we need everything we have over there, we need for our cattle over that way. So I end up dealing with this here. There we go. There we are. And we didn't do anything like this on Scatterbrook Farm. We had no. We just didn't need any grass stuff over there. We did a little bit of stuff for the dairy farm up there, but all that did was made me feel that I wanted to be running a dairy farm and not a pig farm, which it just it informed a lot of my decision to sell up there and move back north of the border with our up here to the north coast. And yeah, despite the coast being on the south, which I have explained before. we are on the northern coast, but we do the whole land sort of comes around so that the particular piece that we're on has a south coast section to it. But we have got a good amount of this done. Still the north coast. We are still on the north coast. Right, and there we go again. And away we go. And it is all good. We are very, very much able to get this drying, or to leave this drying now. This should dry out very nicely. Turn to hay over the next week or so, and once it's done that, we'll be able to get it rowed, which will make me very, very happy. In the meantime, I'm going to get rid of the weeds. We've got weeds infestations on various fields and I want rid of them. So we're going to be doing some weeding over the next couple of weeks. Probably going to have to, I'll probably do some stuff with our animals again. Although, yeah, I need to buy in some more bales because we are a little bit short. Hopefully it's the last time. But that actually depends on whether we compact what we've got in our silos. I've been holding off doing that because I want it to I want to add a little bit more to it, but we're not going to be doing that till the autumn, so it might be a case that we have to compact and level those and then either do more hay later in the year, or our alternative is to empty the silo, store it elsewhere, and go from there. But that's not really a good choice for us, I don't think. So yeah, we're going to be. Well, the other way is to create is to get bales wrapped and do some silage bales instead. But in order to do that, we'd have to get another baler in, at least hired, and a bale wrapper, and it starts getting a little bit messier. So yeah, I think we'll probably hold off until the autumn, make sure that what we've got in there is good, and then get that all compacted and done later in the year there, like that. But this field, I think, is pretty much done. And I'm very, very pleased with how this grass is laying. It is going to dry out very nicely. It means that, yeah, we should have, weather permitting, a decent amount of hay around here. So we'll see how we go. But that... is that all done? So I need to go and fill this up with some fuel because we are very low. If this had a buzzer or a warning, it would be coming on, because yeah, we are at the bottom end of our fuel tank. But that's okay. All right, open this up. And then squeeze it past our milk truck. Probably get that loaded up and do a milk run. Actually, make sure that we're keeping that amount down. Fill that up. Yeah, she needs a good long drink. There we go. All done. I think we're going to leave this here. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from the farm, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.